Hey everyone, and welcome back to another quick chart planning update video. I'm going to cover Bitcoin real quick. I just want to make something aware. I want to give you guys a warning for both the good and bad side of the current short-term structure. I'm talking about like the next week. So this like holiday week with Christmas coming up in like after tomorrow, how that is going to impact, or how this time frame a week from now is going to impact Bitcoin, and how that's going to impact both Mara and MicroStrategy as well, and what I'm doing, because I believe this is a very important moment in time, and as well what my outlook is for January as well. So real quick, just to get out the way, remember everything in this video is just my own personal opinion. It is not financial advice, so please keep that in mind going forward, and whatever I say here may or may not happen. It's just, again, my own personal opinion. 24 hour, 1 week, we have pretty good like momentum building on the larger picture, and I'm going to get into that in a moment. And that's why we're starting to see a lot more of these liquidation buildups, at least on the higher side as well, and a little bit less, but still significant on the bottom side. And it's going to translate. I'm going to show you guys why this is important in a moment. And then look at that, December, the year of having a halving event. I think it was here in April, and now December, we're down in December. I don't know, man. This last like week, I don't know, I think it's like 8 or 9 days left. It's currently the 23rd. We can see a pretty decent pump towards the end. So let's keep an eye out on that as well. But here's what really matters, right? So ever since we topped out up here, we came down, and I've been waiting for a significant structure, a significant dip, and then recovery to make it more reasonable. So what we have here is a few things, right? So on the 4 hour, we can see the candles come up, recover back into this imbalance right here. So I can go ahead and delete this. So that red that we have there also overlapped with a little bit of imbalance that we see right here. So it acted as a magnet. And we have another magnet I'm going to show you guys in a moment. So that got filled, so we're done. Ever since then, what I've been trying to do is I've been following the structure. So this entire move down, I've been following this and lowering it up to the current point that we're at. What this is that this is representing, and this lower price becomes more significant, and I'm going to give you guys a couple of reasons why. But this is now acting as the next resistance, like proof of bullish momentum. So we can reach this area and hold it. That's very important. So we reached this. That's why we reached this area. That's why I was so confident with using this as, as our 3-point just Fibonacci extension to get this resistance level. It's overlapping with our 120 SMA. Nothing crazy. It's just the one I like to use. And then if I go to the 1 day, I believe it's the 1 day. Yeah, it's the 1 day. We have a nice, and I'm gonna go ahead and leave this one here as well, just to make it so I'll leave it like that. So we have imbalance there, potential magnet overlapping with this area. Now this can get easily rejected. I'm gonna tell you guys why right now. I'm gonna tell you guys this is something to keep an eye on. It does not have to happen, but I'm gonna give you guys the bearish scenario as well. So we have a nice magnet area up here overlapping with this, and it provides a swing over the 120 moving average. So that's very good. Now this is a strong resistance because as of right now, just because we're going into year end, and this is what, to me, this is what the most likely scenario is going to look like. These two, I'm not going to give you guys a whole ton of different scenarios. I'm not going to be over bullish short term. I'm just talking about the short term time frame. I'm talking about like from now, this week, and then leading into January, at least what the first half of January can look like. So this is what makes most sense to me, and that's the only thing I'm going to cover. I'm not going to hype you guys up. I'm not going to hype anyone up. I'm not going to give you guys some crazy reasons. Oh, 120,000 plus by the end of the year. No, I'm just gonna be super realistic, because we have hawkish Federal Reserve announcements that came out recently, and then we have, of course, the U.S. government. Something about a shutdown. They were able to extend it like they always do, but that wasn't enough to push the price back up to all-time high. So, super realistic view right now. This is what I'm looking at. We want to see a three-wave pattern, a very clear three-wave pattern, to form a healthy correction. But if we don't get this three-wave pattern, we can just have a healthy correction through a triangle sideways pattern, which we've seen so many times, like ever since I can go back so long. We see these triangle patterns form all the time, so this could happen again. And then I'm gonna give you guys these two scenarios, and then one scenario and how this can be canceled out. And then from there, I will have to restructure the short-term chart and then do an update if that were to happen, and then I'll do an update when that happens and what I'm looking at then. But until it happens, I'm not gonna worry about it. So this is what we have right now. The potential of okay, so this is a wave down, corrective wave up into this area. So an WXY seems more possible than an ABC pattern here, just because we do have a lot of bullish momentum in the background. So I would rather see this just finish itself off as quickly as possible before, So here's the first scenario, right? Is corrective wave up, coming in, mixing in these two areas right here. So the magnet area and then the retracement area. It's an extension, but this is acting as a corrective retracement before it does a one more low scenario. If that were to happen, and this is just an estimate, like I'm gonna delete this because this is not something we should be worrying about too much, because it's very overextended in a way that just doesn't make too much sense to me. So if this were to happen, and also we finished the fourth wave corrective move a while ago, we're currently on an overall 5-wave move that would bring us up to, into the past 115,000. So this is just a little too aggressive. It's not something I'm so relying on. It's something that it's very possible, and I feel like we would not even reach this area. So this is what it will look like. But this isn't something I'm too crazy on, which is why I'm focused as well on the possibility of, so this is still possible though, 100% corrective move, even if it's as simple as we do see a ABC pattern with an extended B wave that can come up all the way up here, surpassing all-time highs briefly to like 110,000, and then we see another quick rejection down, like possibly in January, and then that can bring us down into this area right here, creating the one more low from this area down here. So one more low into this, and then boom, correction's done, and we're off to the euphoria stage. That's very possible as well. So we're going to see either 2 3-wave patterns, but then we also have the possibility of just a corrective triangle. So then it can look, we don't have that just yet, but it can be as simple as like it comes up into this area and then it comes down, and you guys know how this works, and then it just creates it, and then eventually it pops up and it breaks over, and then it goes up higher, right? We've seen this a lot. So this is the 2 possible scenarios. What can cancel all this out is quite simply, the RSI came up, it didn't go up a whole lot ever since this dipped down, this continuation downward, find support, previous support, this continuation downward didn't bring the RSI below the 30, which brings the possibility of like, well, a lot of question marks. Are we gonna see another low? And if that happens, then forget this. Like if we see one more low, forget this and forget this. I'm gonna delete that, and I'll give you guys an update on what that looks, what my new structure will look like then. Excuse me. But we did top out this right here, very nicely topped it out, and then that's when we started coming back down on this target area we've been looking at. But we're down, right? We're down. I'm very bullish. I'm gonna do a video soon, and I'm gonna show you guys a screenshot, but I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys an update because I did add more to BITU today, and I'm gonna say this and then I'll get into Mara and MicroStrategy. Yeah, so I've been buying BITU. I'm gonna add more tomorrow. I'm waiting for my brokers to clear some more funds, but right now I have 1,541 shares of BITU at an average price of $56.84. I'm down $11,246 at the moment. This is a swing trade I've been accumulating because I do believe that this is a very important moment and we're going to break up higher regardless. 2025 is going to be crazy. So this is my new core position. I've been converting my actual spot Bitcoin to this ETF because I feel like there's enough volume to where the diminishing returns of a leveraged ETF it doesn't worry me too much. So yeah, I've been adding. Hopefully you guys saw that, but and it's the app. So some people might think it's a screenshot or something, but yeah, guys, that's for Bitcoin. I'm gonna jump into MicroStrategy and Mara. But yeah, either we can see a triangle pattern form, completely possible, or we can see a WXY pattern, one more low, or just an A, B, overshooting B wave, C. WXY is more likely. Honestly, the most likely is going to be a triangle pattern just because there's not really enough bearishness and the heat map seems strong in my opinion, so I'm not too worried about it. I've been accumulating. I feel completely comfortable with where I'm at on that swing trade I just showed you. I can see this price. It's just I have no worries. That's why I've been accumulating that position, of course. So that's Bitcoin. And then I kept telling you guys the last video I said I would like to see prices come lower, and they did on Bitcoin. So then we saw Mara come down a little bit more deeper into this area. Now here's something that because everyone's going to make their own decision on trading. I'm not here to tell you guys what to do. I'm here to just give my opinion, not financial advice, right? So if we do see this just continue down lower and break below this candle right here, forming a new low on this structure, then, and this is very possible, even if Bitcoin slightly rallies, it's still very possible. But with Mara, if you guys believe in it, if you guys believe that we are in a somewhat of an uptrend right here, as you can see, there's a lot of these candles kind of mix right here. If we're in this, great time to accumulate, great time to start buying, but understand that we can still see this orange corrective area stretch, and not just stretch lower, but if you guys keep in mind this simple moving average, or not moving average, trend line, we're below it now. So this could start acting as resistance instead of support, pushing us lower, a bit lower, below $20. It's completely possible where we can see, $17 once again. So just please keep in mind that this is, a little bit more bearish now, although if you believe in it, and you have the time horizon is on your side, then yeah, but we're below the moving average and we're below this trend line, indicating that I'm not trying to hype anyone up. I just feel like, in my personal opinion, it's not worth shorting because I don't believe this is going to go that low, in such a quick amount of time or anything. It's not worth shorting, but it's not worth going heavy on any longs either, especially if you're leveraged through like options or going heavy on it. But yeah, I believe it's very important to be patient with the stock. That's all up to you guys. Same thing with MicroStrategy. We had this area down here is a magnet area. We can see that we're still somewhat in a downtrend because we had this high and then a lower high, and then low and lower low. So we're still in a downtrend, indicating we can retest this magnet area once again. We retested it nicely, bounced off of it. But if Bitcoin decides to do a little bit of one more low or consolidate a little bit, this can definitely hurt Mara and MicroStrategy, because, you know, with these negative rate announcements, and then it's just, you know, shorter weeks now because of the holidays. It's just trading weeks, I should say. We can easily see this retest. Although I do believe MicroStrategy is a much more safe play if you're looking at, like, you know, trying to maximize your Bitcoin exposure and, like, trying to get as much profit as you can when it comes to the correlation of these stocks with Bitcoin. I feel like MicroStrategy is the way to go. They've been accumulating more, even though they've been getting a lot of bad rep with Wall Street and, like, a lot of negativity for some reason. At the end of the day, it's a company. Their balance sheet is reflecting an increasing amount of Bitcoin, and if Bitcoin goes up eventually, it's just, you know, these stocks aren't like babied. They're not they don't have, like, a favorite child or a favorite parent or whatever like that. So, like, at the end of the day, if you are pro MicroStrategy or not, I am. I think a great company ran by intelligent person. But at the end of the day, it's a company with assets under it, that if this asset just climbs, the stock is going to be forced to climb as well, regardless of its behavioral characteristics. It's ridiculous. So I believe, you know, we can still see the price come down a little bit more, retest this magnet area, because the RSI still hasn't bottomed. But if you look at, you know, previously, it's also dangerous to try to, it's also dangerous to try to rely on the RSI so much, especially when this slow. Like, look at this. Like, here it didn't really bottom out. Here it didn't really bottom it out. It's just, we can see this stretch down a little bit more, but I don't think that's gonna be. I think it's gonna be short-lived. But it's important to keep a close eye on this stock, especially if we do see this drop down a little bit more tomorrow, Tuesday, December 24th. Then, you know, I think it's a great deal. If you're planning to hold on to it for, like, the next 2 months, we can easily see this climb higher. That's just my opinion. I could be absolutely wrong. This could just fly up like crazy, or it can dump like crazy, like right away tomorrow, and then who knows. And then same thing with Mara. Like, this thing can just climb up like crazy tomorrow. It doesn't have to dip lower. I think it's gonna dip lower, and that's just my own personal opinion. That's why you guys make your own decisions. I'm not here to tell you what to do. But yeah, it's all gonna depend on this right here. You know, Bitcoin. Let's see what's gonna happen, because this is a very, very important time. If we can see prices sustain itself at these lower levels leading into January, then I believe that, like, negative January that I've been talking about is not going to happen. If we can see this sustain itself below the moving average, stay at these lower levels, maybe trend down a little bit more, this is going to provide a better setup for a green January if we can have a red December. But we will see. Regardless, I'm going to keep accumulating into BITU to try to take advantage of Bitcoin at these lower levels, because that's just how I'm doing things. That's what makes sense to me, and I sleep completely fine at night. Doing it this way, I feel very, very good with it. It's as simple as that. So yeah, that's my opinion on these 3 assets. Of course, BITU, it's the same thing with Bitcoin. It follows the prices times 2 leverage. That's what I'm buying to get exposure to Bitcoin. And then you guys already, you know, you can rewind if you want to hear again my opinion on MicroStrategy or Mara. But that's just my personal opinion. You guys make up your own. I'll catch you guys on the next video, and take care.